Good morning, everyone. Marla here at Fassler Garden, and it is time for our June garden tour. So let's go see what's going on. All right, so here we are just inside the front gate. The grapes that we hacked down and didn't think that we were going to grow have tenaciously taken over here, so I'm just gonna let them go, see what happens. Since the pole beans that I planted down there were munched away, I need something to cover this trellis, so I'll let the grapes go. Tomatoes are looking amazing. I love the tomato cages. I love using the wood chip mulch. I really have not done any weeding in this bed here at all. The cages work also in the fall and in the winter. I put them around my young fruit trees to protect them from deer, and then I can cover them with burlap. But judging by the size of those fruit trees now, I don't think I'll be able to use those cages, but that's okay. Over here we have the hot box underneath the kitchen window, and this is what I had the spring greens in. And slowly, as I have been harvesting the greens, I have been replacing them with the peppers. So peppers and greens in here. I've got some perennial greens in here as well. So the let's see, right back here and up over here is Italian dandelion greens, really good. And then I've got the French sorrel here and Swiss chard. Peppers coming in there in the back. Lovely, lovely. This spot gets really hot. It takes up, soaks up all of the mid-morning and afternoon sun, so great place there for peppers. I've got pole beans gonna start to take over right here. These I also had to replant a couple of times because I had buried compost underneath there to kind of fortify the soil and give it a boost, and Willa kept digging it up. We have two different kinds of pole beans growing here. You can see one has a green vine and the other one a purple, so that'll be interesting. Got nasturtiums getting ready to climb up this as well, so I'm really excited to have this covered in growth. My little toothache plant down here, last year it came up, it had self-seeded and it came up in several different spots, but I haven't seen any sign of it yet this year, but maybe it's because I laid down a whole bunch of mulch. This here is Malabar spinach. This is my first year growing it. It likes a hot spot, edible, obviously, spinach, and it should climb this trellis here too. So I don't really know how tall it's going to get. The package I think said 3 to 4 feet, so we'll see. I might plant more pole beans here, maybe just to fill in the spaces. Got more peppers over here, and then Sadie Mae is pushing up flowers. I've got a blue kiwi back there in the corner, Sunday sage, Monday sage. I've got a 4 o'clock over there, and I think those are zinnias. Yeah, those are zinnias. Let's see, the buttercups are brilliant. Got a little rosemary going on here. One of my favorite places here in the garden. Look at those fish. I just fed them this morning and they're already begging for more. I was emptying out one of the rain barrels because we haven't had any rain in a few days, and this pond is a rain-fed pond. You can kind of see back there, there's a little opening. There's a drain tile underneath there that feeds up to that gutter, or that downspout. So when it rains, the pond is naturally refreshed, but it hasn't rained in a while, so I emptied out one of the rain barrels, and now the fish are all excited because they had fresh water. The blackberries back there are doing mighty fine. I can't believe how big this peach tree has gotten. The trees that were closest to the house survived the that late spring freeze, but the ones that were further down in the yard where there's a cold sink did not fare so well. The garlic here is looking amazing. I don't know how I'm going to get in there to weed it, but that has to be done today, so I'll try to get in there before the sun really comes out. My little blueberries are hiding in the garlic, so after we harvest this garlic, then they'll have a little bit more room to grow. We just planted them this year, so hopefully they do well. We've not really had a whole lot of luck with blueberries, or maybe we're just not blueberry savvy, whatever it is. Hopefully these ones take off. Look at that, there's some dill hiding in the garlic. Love it. A lot of grass down in there though. Man, I gotta get in there and get that grass out. I have strawberries just hiding everywhere. The chipmunks get most of the strawberries, but the strawberries that I do get my hands on are super sweet, but they're also super small, so they're kind of a pain in the butt. Feverfew is popping up everywhere. The oregano just takes over. I find it so hard to just pull and toss. So if anybody wants any oregano, please let me know. Look at that valerian. The white flowers that are growing tall, that's valerian root. They smell amazing, but they self-seed so easily that they can easily take over a spot. So you can see that one down there is kind of falling over, so I want to get in here today and cut them. I have a vase all set up, so I'll bring them inside so I can continue to smell their beautiful fragrance. Last year I tried to sell some to florists, but I didn't quite make the connections because nobody really heard of it, I guess. They're like, Valerian, what is that? The peas are doing wonderfully here on this trellis. I've harvested them, I don't know, 2 or 3 times already. Mostly they don't make it into the house because they are so sweet and delicious that we just kind of end up snacking on them. But they're wonderful in salads and stir fries, so peas are one of those things that you pick it and you have to eat it within the next day or two because the sugars turn to starch and it loses its sweetness. Oh, yes. These cattle panels have just been an amazing way to increase our square footage for growing. I don't know why we didn't do it sooner. This peach tree is doing mighty fine. I think that's an apricot tree up there. It too is doing, ooh. Sorry, something was crawling up me. That tree is also doing quite well. And then again, that peach tree over there gets most of the sun all day long, so it's doing fantastic. Look at this yarrow, just about to open up fully. Oh, and it is growing intermixed with with the oregano. Look at that yarrow, also self-seeds so readily. It's just like growing in all the cracks. The oregano is just growing in all the cracks and crevices. Over here we have raspberries, a ton of raspberries. I think I'm going to have to do you pick raspberries this year because I don't think that there's any way that I'm going to be able to keep up on picking all those raspberries. And then over here we have just some squash and zucchini and summer squash, and look at those peas. Oh man. See, I should be working instead of making this video. That's why I haven't made a video in a while, because I start to walk around and I'm seeing things that need to be done. And I'm like, what are you doing? Get your gloves on. Get out there and start working. I love this tunnel. There's a lot of peas on here, man. All right. I got some weeding to do today. Gotta pick the peas. And you know, it's like most of the things that I have to do are best done in the morning. So I'm up at 6. Chickens and ducks are waking me up. Never did get that spirea planted. Sorry, Linda. Got some pumpkins over here. No, I think this is butternut and acorn squash. So that's going to all sprawl out into here. Still have perennials back there. So this weekend I'll, today's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'll get more perennials going on the cart. This is horseradish that has come up through 6 inches of this mulch that was, they were in pots and they sat there for a season and their roots took hold, and now we have horseradish there, and it will never leave. So if you ever plant horseradish, make sure you put it where you want it. And if you have it in pots and you move it around, because it is a wonderful companion plant, just note to maybe put a brick or something underneath the pot so that the roots don't take hold. And then same here, look at, that's a Valerian. Look at how far away it is from other Valerian. And it's self-seeded there as well. Tenacious plants. Plants are amazing. What they can withstand. The potatoes over here are doing excellent. See there, there's a horseradish in a pot. But we have it sitting on top of a brick. Over here we have more Valerian. Maybe that's where that little one behind me came from. I just love that trellis. Oh, I feel like I'm getting married every time I walk through it. Yeah, potatoes. Look at how those potatoes are like taking over that bin. That is excellent. The green beans over here, potatoes are taking over the green beans too. So we've got a mix here of green beans, potatoes, and blackberries. It's not an official guild, but it's working. More potatoes over here. So we do the layer method. I don't know if you've watched the video that we did on how we plant our potatoes, but we do them in layers, leaving the middle empty in the bottom 2 layers and only filling the potatoes in the middle on the top layer. So I think we have maybe two or three different kinds of potatoes growing in here. And then more green beans over here on this side. The girls back there getting their morning range in. Chowing down on flies and bugs and worms. And then look at those little girls back there. They're so cute. We lost one the other day though. It must have been eating some of its food from a bowl, and the bowl flipped upside down and it trapped itself underneath the bowl and suffocated. Very sad. This fruit tree here did not survive the freeze. It is though in the lowest part of the garden, so there is definitely a cold sink down here. The asparagus didn't do so well in the freeze either, and this poor little tree here is just barely hanging on. Got to cut down this valerian here. It's fallen over, so it will go in the vase, and then I will bring its lovely smells inside. Hey little girls. Hey little girls, look at that. I have a duck that is just like laying its eggs just all willy-nilly, just wherever. It's like Easter, coming back here looking for eggs. The white raspberries are taking off. They're spreading, they're moving around, they're growing. They are so delicious. I love the white raspberries. Black raspberries, they too are very, very prolific. They're very hard to harvest. They're mean. These ones here are white blackberries. Just planted them last year, so don't quite know yet what to expect. Wonder what happened here. Some little animal has come in and dug this up. It's a good thing there's not a big something there, but I'm gonna have to replant that patty pan squash. We've got some green onions, carrots, what's left of some spinach, radishes that I let go to seed. Back here I have my onion patch. Got to get in there and do some weeding today too, lest the black raspberries take over. It looks like something had a little skirmish in there as well. The walking onions over here want to walk away. Look at them. They're amazing. There's onions growing onions. Growing onions. They're crazy. I love the mornings. What else we got going on? Daylilies all getting ready to pop there. Our apple trees are doing pretty well. You can definitely tell which one gets the most sunlight. Got strawberries for ground cover over here, some flowers, some herbs. The greenhouse gets very hot in this spot, but I've loved the addition of the greenhouse so far. These poor little nasturtiums get too much sun here, I think. What are you doing up in there? This chocolate mint here has just taken off. Look at, you can hardly see my chicken. It's crazy. This is where we dump the duck water, and the duck water is right behind this mound here. So all winter long when we spray it down, clean it out every day when I clean it out, all the duck poop gets flushed into this area right here, and look at the effects of that on that chocolate mint. So I just kind of let it go here, and every time I walk through, I come in and I step on the mint right there, and it's much better to smell the mint than to smell the duck poop. Oh look, I have a poppy. One little poppy. I've never really had a whole lot of luck growing poppies. I don't know if I recognize them, and maybe I weed them out. I had peas growing up this trellis over here, but they failed because I had so much feverfew and tansy right here that it got they got shaded out. So I weeded out the feverfew and the tansy and replanted some of my stray flowers that just didn't sell out on the garden cart, and then I also planted seeds in there, so hopefully that will fill in here real quick. Got to get the fly trap out. I do use Nature's Good Guys fly exterminators, and they do a pretty good job, but I set myself up for a subscription, and I only got a little packet, so apparently you just get a little packet once every 3 months, but I need more than that, I think. Got some apples coming in on this apple tree down here. They're beautiful. I love them. And then the beds down here are doing very well. This is the most success that I've had in these beds down here. They don't get even sun, so I can't, like, you know, plant the same thing on each side. This bed over here is in shade for most of the day, and then this bed over here gets some full sun for a good part of the afternoon, and then those two beds over there get a decent amount of sun. So greens down here, carrots, beets. It's my first year of consistently using the row covers, and it has helped tremendously with the cabbage moth. Highly recommend doing that if you can. The broccoli here I have harvested. Today will be my 3rd time harvesting the broccoli. If you can see down in there, as you cut it, it grows more. So this broccoli doesn't get like one big huge head. It gets a whole lot of little side shoots. And that's what I like. So they'll keep growing for, I don't know, hopefully the rest of the summer. I will start seeds soon for more cabbage and maybe even more broccoli for the fall garden. I didn't do a fall garden last year, and I really wish I would have. Big cabbage over there, kale, green beans. I had lettuces in here, and after harvesting the lettuce, now I'm going to fill in these spots here. I'll plant some green beans in there too. Over here in this garden, this is where I like broadcasted the sweet alyssum for the ground cover, and then I have buckwheat down here on the end, so that will attract some beneficial insects. This bed doesn't have a row cover. I just didn't have enough. I should probably order another one just so I can have frost protection and the row cover for each one of these beds. But I have beets in here and some spinach and kale. And over there, same thing, different order. So that bed over there, I weeded out most of the sweet alyssum. And then over here, I try to weed out most of the sweet alyssum, like in between the beets here. The kale will grow tall, so I'm gonna let the sweet alyssum be there, I think. Kind of an experiment going on. And this row here is perennials. This is just kind of like a nursery here, getting stuff in the ground. But I've been digging up from over here to contribute to my plant sales. So lots of irises, sedum, some hostas. Yeah, so I'll have to continue on with that plant sale. Here we are back at the peas again. Ooh, I gotta pick those peas. My fruit guilds all contain garlic around the base, some strawberries or mulch or some kind of ground cover, something deep-rooted like comfrey or rhubarb. Look at that, rhubarb is growing out of the side of the wall. A seed must have landed there. Borage is just coming up of its own free will everywhere. I have to come through here and cut the scapes on the garlic. I like to smoke the scapes and then pulverize them for a seasoning. It's just so peaceful out here in the mornings. and in the afternoons, and in the evenings. Big cabbage over here, big kale. Over here on this side of the apple trees, got just a ton of stuff going on. I just kind of let this just do whatever it wants. So so we've got things that are just growing amongst each other, and I think that's Queen Anne's lace, which I like a little Queen's Anne lace in the garden. I let it go with I think that is coneflower, maybe. Coneflower just growing there and there of its own free will. Sedum, oregano, and then the rue. I really like the rue, so I started the rue from seed a few years ago, and these plants have just astounded me. And then today, as I was looking around, I was like, oh look, there's some little baby rues. I love it, little baby rues. Oh yeah, so far that's what's going on at Fassler Garden. If you ever want to stop by and take the tour in person, you most certainly may. Back here again, the sunflowers, and these are the squash or the zucchinis that I had started in what, March, April inside, and I didn't think that they were gonna make it. And even after we got them out here, I was like, oh no, I don't think that anything is gonna happen with them. But after a couple of hot days and some consistent watering, I think that they might do all right. Calendula has just self-seeded itself all over here, so I always let those self-seeders, those volunteers, just go for it. I had some beans back over here, but I think slugs maybe just ate them all up. You win some, you lose some. Look at this ice plant. This ice plant is just amazing. Can you see the texture of those leaves? They're almost sticky to the touch. It's a succulent, but it's also edible. Might not like the full sun, but this will end up in shade here pretty soon. And then my potting bench and worm farm back behind the chicken coop. Again, if you're not familiar with my worm farm, it is a 3-compartment sink from a hotel or restaurant. In the 3-compartment sink, I have my worm bins. There's worms under there, I promise. So I'll put some compost out here. The kitchen scraps come out here, and then I cover it with a layer of comfrey leaves. And then when it rains, which it hasn't done in a few days, the rain washes through, drips into the buckets, and then there I have compost tea. You know how much compost tea costs at the store? It's expensive. The gate to the pool at our neighbors. This is why we don't have to go on vacation, because look at that, is such a perfect spot to enjoy morning cup of coffee, sitting in the gentle sun. I love it. I love it. And if you ever want to come and share, come on over. Here we are at the happy place, aka France. The outdoor kitchen area. I want to spruce that up there a little bit. We got a projector out here, so last night we were out here watching a movie, eating dinner. Tiki torches lit, the sound of the pond. Well, if you made it all the way through the video, I know that was a long 30 minutes, but thanks for watching. Again, this is Marla at Fassler Garden, and hope to see you. Bye.